You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Once Upon a Time After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Once Upon a Time After Show.
Hello everyone, Bing is for doing, and tonight we are doing another after show for our favorite ABC series, Once Upon a Time, Season 3, Episode 3, titled Quite a Common Fairy. I'm your host, Cathy Kelley, and joining me on the panel tonight is the lovely Tiona Hobson.
Thank you, Cathy.
We've been having some lovers' quarrels tonight, but it is going to be a good after show. And to her left is Kaori Takee.
Hi.
And then running the ones and twos tonight is Marisa Serafini. Hopefully she will get to interject her opinions on tonight's episode as well.
What's up, everyone? I did watch the episode, so I'm here. Yes. We're running the ones and twos again, but it was a good episode.
It was a good episode.
You
got
skills, the multitasker here. So.
That's what I do. She's a girl. She can do it.
That's true. The past couple weeks, we have been talking about how easy the storyline is to follow, but tonight we had not only Neverland, but past Enchanted Forest, present Enchanted Forest, multiple storylines going on throughout Neverland. It was a little bit hectic, but amazing episode overall.
It was. I was talking about this earlier tonight, that this season, I feel like they've really upped the ante a little bit. Last season was good, but this season, I mean, we've only been 3 episodes in, but it's already a lot more epic and just bigger, better. The storylines are so compelling, and they keep you engaged from the start.
I completely agree with you. Everything is moving so fast, and it's a perfect pace, actually, and you just get so stuck and caught in it. I'm already like, I needed 2 hours for this episode.
Yes.
I think
so good.
The last 2 episodes of season 2, the ones that focused around Neverland, are very parallel to the beginning of this season, and not just because it's Neverland, but the pacing and all of that combined, it's just, it's intense.
And I think it helps that they broke up the season into 11 and 11. I think that gives the writers a clear focus, like, hey, this is what we need to accomplish by here. This is our goal. We're going to, focus on Neverland and get this done. So it gives them the right time map to push through everything a lot faster.
I like how things are moving kind of faster to the point where a lot of our questions are getting answered faster, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, like when you wonder who the guy with the lion tattoo is, and they answer it by the end of the episode, so you don't have to worry.
I was so happy that's who it was.
Yes, Robin Hood, we can spoil that, but you've probably seen the episode anyways. But let's get into tonight's episode, Enchanted Forest, with Robin Hood, Neal, and Mulan. They are all in Rumpel's old castle, trying to figure out a way for Neal to find Henry and Emma and the rest of them. Neal sees through the magic crystal ball thingy that Henry is trapped in Neverland, or he deduces that since he sees Emma, that's where she is. He realizes that he has to go there, and he puts this all together that Pan wants the truest believer must be his son Henry.
Yeah, it's good that he knew that's what Pan was looking for, because since no one else knew that Pan was looking for the truest believer, once you know that's who he's looking for, you know Henry is the one who's believed from the beginning, since he got that book, and he clearly is a true believer.
He must have spent a lot of time in Neverland. I knew that he spent a while in Neverland, but this is a good chunk of his life if he can put all of that together in 30 minutes.
I thought the same thing too, and I'm like, wow, he figured that out before everyone else.
Right.
So it goes to show, like, he really knows Pan and like how he thinks and his mentality.
Yeah.
So Neal, now being at Neverland, not to jump ahead a little bit, but he knows Pan's strategy and tactics that he could really help.
And
Yeah,
we know
for
that
sure.
Pan is the biggest of the adversaries thus far. He's scarier than Rumpelstiltskin and Regina combined, which we have never seen. I thought it was interesting. We really didn't get to see much Rumple this episode. We didn't get to see
Yeah, we
him.
didn't see him at all.
No, we did see him very briefly in a flashback
at the
for
beginning.
Enchanted Forest, but
That's
we did
right.
not see him in the present day in Neverland. However, I think that Neal is the key to getting everyone.
I agree
out
with you,
safe.
Kathy. I think so because he knows so much, and hopefully soon we get a backstory on how close and how assimilated he is with Neverland.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to see more of him as a kid in Neverland and how he escaped
How
Neverland.
he escaped and
because
his relationship with Pan because he obviously has a unique one.
yeah, I feel like he was maybe right there with Felix. You know, he was maybe Pan's right hand guy who he then like betrayed Pan or something.
Yeah.
And I loved how Felix was just there, like, waiting for Bae, or Neal, and goes to show that Pan was expecting Bae to come back, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he knows that he has a son. But when they were looking for a portal in Rumpel's castle, they did mention anything can be used as a portal. Ruby slippers was mentioned. So they keep alluding to a lot of Once Upon
Wizard
a Time
of
or
Oz.
Wizard of Oz things. So I really think that that's where we might be heading.
I feel
That's
like
the next
That's the
land
next
we're
land
gonna get
that we're
stuck
gonna
in.
go
Yeah.
we keep
to.
getting all these opposing thoughts, I feel like, because a lot of the time we hear, oh, only beans are the only way to go from land to land. But then we hear, well, ruby slippers, there are other ways.
Well, I think we
clearly
always-
a shadow.
I think we always knew there was different ways because the Mad Hatter never used beans. He always used his hat.
His hat,
Right.
yes.
So, you know, there were always different things that can be used, which reminds me of Harry Potter. And, you know, that you could make a portal out of anything. There's
Flu
an
powder.
old flu powder.
Yeah.
There is the old boot
Port
that
key?
they
Yeah.
port keys.
I think that when it came to the magic beans, it was the only portal accessible at the time for them. So I mean, there's probably
Maybe.
possible ones.
Where have we seen ruby slippers though before? Didn't we see that? No, maybe I'm imagining that.
I don't think we've seen ruby slippers yet.
They are
Okay.
pretty.
Well,
I want to say we have, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like if we have, they would have been in Gold's store.
Maybe that's where we've seen them.
it's possible.
We probably haven't, but I am the truest believer that it will happen.
Uh-oh.
There you go. So, in the Enchanted Forest, Little John and the rest of Robin Hood's crew arrive. The Merry Men,
The
yes.
Merry Men.
And his son Roland, cutest little boy.
This little guy.
Neal says he realizes how to get Henry. They need to make a portal, or they need to use Roland as bait for Peter Pan's shadow to come snatch him up in the middle of the night. And Neal and Robin end up having kind of a back and forth, you know, will you help me, won't you help me? What did you guys think of this?
I think Robin Hood was our Hood, as we like to call him for short, since we're friends. I think he brought up a good point. You know, he already lost his wife, Maid Marian, and, you know, they went through a whole debacle even to get Roland into this world. So he doesn't want to chance it because so many things in that situation could have gone wrong. And it could have ended with Roland being taken off with the shadow and them standing there like, oh, crap, what do we do now?
Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, Neal had a very, very good point. Was his father saved pretty much the family and made it possible. So he felt somewhat in debt too.
How many times is this poor guy going to have to pay off that debt? You know?
Well, the simple one of him being in his house was
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of a cheap way to get out of
Yeah.
a debt for, you know,
I mean,
saving your son.
he is staying in a house that's not his.
Yeah, but jeopardizing your son's life now.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, I think the debt is paid now.
The debt, I think, is finally
Yes.
paid. He said that he would have his son say the words, I believe, once.
Yeah, he was
If
very
it didn't work,
trepidatious about it.
that was it. So Neal, Robin, and Mulan prep for the shadow to come. Roland says the two words, I believe.
Leave.
And the shadow comes in. Neal jumps, ends up grabbing the leg as the shadow is about to take Roland.
Yeah, Mulan had to come in and kind of.
I love
Cut
seeing
him.
Mulan in this
Slice
scene.
it,
She's
yeah.
like directing everyone. You go here, you go here. We're gonna do this. You know, woman power, man. Get it.
Yeah.
She knows how to plot.
Yeah. And sorry to go back just a little bit. The ruby slippers. The episode The Doctor. Jefferson.
Doctor.
Yes.
I believe it was Rumpel sent Jefferson to go get ruby slippers, and there's a line where Jefferson says they were gone because Dorothy already took them.
Okay.
They've definitely been alluded to before.
Yeah.
I know that. It's just whether or not we've seen them. So if you guys remember seeing them, then please leave us a comment when it happened, because I would love to see them.
Yeah, and that makes sense that they can be used as a portal, because in The Wizard of Oz, she literally uses the shoes to get home.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
so.
right.
So, Shadow comes, Neal hops on. It seems like it was very easy for him to get to Neverland, considering, like, I thought this would be a whole season long ordeal.
Well, that's what I meant.
But I'm
by,
glad
like,
that it wasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how it was like this episode was very fast
Yeah.
paced, and I like it. And it kind of shows how smart and sharp Neal is when coming to knowing how to get to Neverland.
Yeah,
And how to
and
do
it's it's part of that 11 episodes. To have this wrapped up, you don't
Yeah.
have 22 episodes to drag things out.
Right.
You only have until December to get this done, so you have to get in there and keep the audience's attention.
So I do have to say that we only watch the episode, or we only get to watch the episode once before we do this after show. We go back and we watch several times before. One of the things that we almost messed up on is we thought that the son's name was Merlin, because that is what we heard the first 3 times when we rewound.
The
Roland.
accents are
It's actually
thick.
Roland. Yes, the accents are very thick, and we finally got it with closed captioning on that it was Roland. But
And then we thought it would just roll in.
how cool would that be? Because we've heard this reference to Merlin before, but we haven't seen him yet. Obviously, we know that he's a lot older than a 4-year-old, but
Yeah, and I mean, last week we saw, the sword in the stone. It wasn't the real one, but, that was last week. And then this week we thought his name was Merlin. So maybe that's why we were thinking Merlin,
Hoping and
because...
And haven't we seen the Knights at the Round Table too?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we
They
saw
had the round
Lancelot,
table.
we saw,
Which-
last season.
Yeah, which, is he dead or is
I
he
would
not
love
dead?
to see more of
I
him.
think he's dead.
I have news about
unfortunately.
it.
Oh,
yeah.
flashbacks.
I go
Yeah.
with you.
Flashback.
Okay.
Or we could see Lady Morgana. She'd be a bad adversary to the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
She could be the new baddie.
Yeah.
So, another thing that I was hoping for this episode kind of happened. I thought that Robin Hood would get a new love interest and that it would be Mulan. But turns out, whoa, Mulan, we thought she was going to go confess her love to Philip. Turns out, Homegirl's been in love with Aurora this entire time.
Which is funny, because did anyone watch the New York Comic-Con panel
What?
yesterday?
What happened?
Because Jennifer Morrison, everyone keeps trying to mesh her and Regina as, a couple. They keep calling...
Really?
Yeah, they keep trying to... It's called, Evil Queen... No, Queen Swan. Swan Queen.
Okay.
That's the one.
Oh,
They're trying to
okay.
merge them as a couple. And my thing with that is, Emma could never love Regina because Regina tries to kill her mother every chance she gets. So that would just be the worst thing for her to
Yeah.
do. But everyone's trying to ship them.
I mean, no one likes their mother-in-law, so I kind of
Yeah,
get it.
I mean,
but...
I get
Right,
it.
but
But she said in yesterday, maybe keep watching and you might get a payoff soon about something similar to that happening.
Oh, I see.
So tonight when Mulan was going and talking to her, I was like, is this what she meant? And I think it was. Sorry, I got
wonder-
really excited.
I wonder if the writers had that planned since last season, because I thought all last season that Mulan was in love with
I
Philip.
agree with you.
And maybe it was just every time she would yell at Aurora, she was just, that's the kind of, when you're on the playground in 3rd grade and you have a crush on a boy or a girl or whatever, and you just yell at them because you don't know how to react.
I just kind of, I get the feeling it was kind of a this season change, because I really was under the impression, like you, Kathy, that she had a huge love for Philip.
I like it.
So it's good.
Yeah.
Swerve caught me off
Swerve.
guard, but yeah,
I did
I'm
too.
in full
Well, actually,
support.
it's funny because when she was gonna go tell Philip, which I thought, I was like, no, don't tell him. But when she didn't tell Aurora, I was like, why don't you tell her?
And
So-
that one scene when she was going to tell, I went back and forth every single time. It was written so well because she was like, "Oh, is Philip around?" Oh, but no, I was here to talk to you and tell you.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. She's gonna tell her, and then Aurora had to ruin it all and be pregnant.
She's triggered.
Yeah.
How
So-
selfish.
It's all right. She's with Merry Men right now. It might work out.
The band of Merry Men.
I really want Mulan to find something.
Yeah, she needs someone. Hopefully being with the band of merry men will bring her some sort of happiness.
And
I know. I feel bad for her. I'm like, oh, she's Asian. She's getting the shaft. I don't know. That's just where my mind went.
I hear ya.
Yes.
It's
so-
okay, Marissa. I feel that way about black people when I see them on TV too. You just connect to them for some reason.
You do, you know?
Yeah.
I don't feel that way about white
Kathy,
people.
Kathy's like hashtag white people problems.
I know. White girl problems. So, anyways, another thing that we learned in tonight's episode is that you can have more than one love. And is it more than one true love, or is that instigated by magic? It's kind of unclear at this point, but it is possible, which we will talk about later in tonight's after show. But before we get into talking about our next topic, I just want to mention that if you are watching us on YouTube, then please take 2 seconds, go over to iTunes and subscribe. You can type in AFTERBUZZ TV, find all of our after shows. We do about 50 shows a week, over 50 shows a week.
55.
55 shows a week, as Marissa has clarified. And we do Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. We do pretty much every show that you would be a fan of on television. So please subscribe. And then if you could take 30 seconds, rate and comment. Give us a 5-star rating if you like it, because we are going up against the first season of after shows, which I think we did better. Hopefully.
I know we did better.
So yeah, just leave us a comment. And then also on YouTube, we love reading your comments on what you think happened in the last episode. If you guys have catches that we might have missed, please let us know, because those are always so fun to read throughout the week.
Yes, and I enjoy reading everyone's predictions.
Yeah.
It kind of gets my mind going too, since we only get to watch the episode and then immediately come in here tomorrow morning when I wake up and I'm reading the comments. It helps me kind of
It
piece
really
together
is.
parts.
It's an ongoing process, I feel like, throughout the week. Is, watching it over again and then hearing other people's thoughts. So it really is cool to hear that. So keep them coming. Do it. Anyways, let's get back into
are
tonight's...
Do it.
Do it.
You don't want to be so white.
Trying to, become something else. I don't know. So, flashback to past Enchanted Forest. We see Regina's and Tinkerbell's past history, I guess. It starts out with Rumpelstiltskin goes to Regina and is pissed off because she missed her magic lesson for the day. I love how this season we've gotten a lot of references to Rumpel being able to be a seer. He's like, oh, roast swan. Funny. You'll get that one later. Which I don't think we've seen that in past seasons. This is kind of a newer development that the writers are incorporating. But
They did it a couple times tonight too.
Yeah, they did it.
with the apple with Henry too.
Yeah, that was fun.
So
Once humor.
Regina didn't show up for magic practice with Rumpel. She's still in white, which we know that she hasn't been completely transformed into a dark person yet. But Rumpel tells her that the darkness is all she has and dark magic will consume her eventually. Regina is very angry, tries to, I guess she doesn't try, but falls off a balcony.
She
About
like
to fall
kicked
to her
it
death.
or something.
Yeah,
and
she
the
kept on
balcony
hitting
rail
it.
fell over and
Tinkerbell ends up saving her. That's how they meet. And Regina and Tinkerbell end up having this girl bonding session over food, which is very easy to relate to.
Yeah, it's
I
a
think
very good way to
that
do
was
it.
refreshing, because we usually don't see Regina bonding with another woman.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
just as friends.
she
as
was
a
young,
friend
she was
comfort.
happy, she was smiling, she was, out and about. People didn't know she was the queen because clearly she was just sitting around with everyone and no one
She was-
seemed to care.
And she
Almost
wasn't
normal.
really dressed up like a queen.
Yeah.
She was still in that common phase.
Yeah, I kind of
Didn't
felt like
care.
a girls shopping and going to the food court. and
Yeah,
hanging
because
out.
she was saying, like, oh, I've been the happiest times are when the king and Snow are gone because then I have the place to myself, but I feel like I'm alone in there.
Hey,
So-
girl, you want to get a coffee at ye old Starbucks?
Exactly. That's all she needed was a friend.
Yeah.
And this friend just wanted her to find her true love, even
A
though she
very
was already
sweet
married.
friend.
How awful are you that you turn a good person into this like homeless, magicless.
Well, she's pretty awful, but she didn't realize it, to be fair.
But it was like misery loves company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was still grieving over the loss of Daniel, and she was bitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Tinkerbell tries to help her, turn her into a good person. They have this chat over food about, you know, how Regina hates her life and hates Snow White, and
Typical.
says that, I guess what they come to is Tinkerbell tells her, you know, it is possible to find love again, even if it's not with this king. I'll help you get your happy ending, which is what Regina is still searching for. And Tinkerbell goes back to being, you know, where the fairies are. The blue fairy greets her and says that she disobeyed what she was supposed to do as a fairy, and the blue fairy is kind of like her superior,
Mother superior.
She is her superior in this situation. She's kind of the teacher, and doesn't really want to help Regina because of the past.
Yeah, it
she's
felt a
seen.
little harsh for me, even though Regina is pretty evil. It still kind of felt a tinge of, oh, you're not being totally fairy-like.
Because
Although,
at this point,
how
Regina-
awful was Cora?
Yeah.
That's
but
what she
at
was
this
basing it
point,
off of.
Regina hadn't done anything bad. She was training with Rumple, but there was still maybe a chance to save her and bring her
Yeah.
back over. And Blue Fairy wasn't having it because, I mean, once you come from Cora, who rips out people's hearts, and then you're training with Rumple, maybe she didn't realize that there was still a part of Regina still in there that could have been saved, because I feel like the Blue Fairy is always trying to help, and
Yeah,
that's
why I
not
was a little
really,
surprised.
you know.
It's like a different side of her,
Yeah,
I
it's-
felt, almost.
And Tinker was trying to help. It was just not in the proper way. I kind of got the sense that Tinker was going through the teenage rebellion, like, oh, don't call me Green Fairy. Actually, I'm called Tinkerbell. And, you
I
know.
love how you've nicknamed her as Tinker.
Oh, yeah. Tinker.
That's awesome.
So she ends up stealing pixie dust for Regina to help her find a new love. She's kind of the ultimate wing woman, even though it is saying that she should cheat on her husband, I guess.
You know what? It's okay. You're married now, but I'm going to help you find your true love and you'll be happy. How's she going to be happy? Is she going to get a divorce? Do they have those? Is she going to have
they have those?
Is she going to have just like a
Run
piece
away
on the
with your true love,
side?
yeah.
Like
I don't
what?
know.
I mean, is she just going to have an
I mean,
affair?
I guess like that's the whole thing about the fairy tale world, is the true love is the most important thing. So sure, she's married, but she expressed during lunch or whatever that she's not really in
Yeah.
love with her man.
So Tinker takes her to a pub and says, that is your guy. The guy with the lion tattoo.
I kind of want to go get a lion tattoo on my wrist now.
You go do that.
Who is
I'll
it?
come with you.
We find out at the end of the episode that it is Robin Hood.
What?
Swerve.
Yeah.
Totally. We were totally trying to figure out who it was. We went through the list based on the back of his
Yeah,
head.
I
Right.
googled
Who
it
it
too.
was.
I thought it looked like the back of David's head.
It
for a
did at
split
one
second.
point.
It did for a split second.
For a split second.
I thought, I was trying to rack my brain for who else it could have been, but yeah.
Yeah, and so I was really excited because I just screamed out every guy's name in the cast, basically. and then I was like, oh, wait, Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Forgot about him.
I like the interesting use of pixie dust in this episode. It's used to find your true love. We usually see it as
Just a fly.
as flying.
They
and
said that pixie dust is more powerful than fairy,
fairy
dust.
dust.
Right.
I want
Which
to know
is-
what the difference is, because if they're
Yeah.
both harvested by fairies, doesn't really
Why,
make sense.
yeah, and you know, Regina flew, which means that she did have happy thoughts, even though she was.
She did have that. Well, because she
She-
still wasn't all dark.
Yeah, she wasn't all dark, and even though she was in mourning for Daniel, she still had something happy, the hope of finding
yeah,
a
she
true
still
love.
had hope left.
Unfortunately, she does not go into the pub to meet the man of her dreams. She lies to Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell calls her out, and Regina says that Tinkerbell is a horrible fairy, terrible fairy, and she should just take her moth wings and get
That
out
was
of there.
so
That was-
mean.
Yeah.
Cold.
Yeah.
She's
That's
way better than a
painful.
moth.
After she just like
Of
went
course.
through all these things to try to help you find your true love and be happy again,
mean,
and then to turn on her.
I know, like,
that-
what?
She
that
broke a lot of
fast.
rules. She stole for you.
What a way to make someone feel unappreciated. That
Yeah,
sucked.
right.
At least just say, hey, I actually didn't go in. I got too scared. But, you know, Regina is not going to admit that she's scared. but to tell her that you went and he was a horrible person and, you know, she basically wasted her time.
Yeah, and she turned it around on Tinkerbell by saying, "You're the one that messed up. It's your fault that this is happening." It was just
No, it's yours,
tragic.
Regina.
Yeah, it was.
So the blue fairy no longer believes in Tinkerbell, and it ends up costing Tink her wings.
Poor Tinkerbell.
Was that too harsh of the blue
I
fairy?
felt like it was kind of harsh.
I mean, they said everyone deserves a second chance, but apparently Tinkerbell already used up her first chance.
And
And
her second.
that was, yeah.
And there was a lot of mentions of second chances because even Neal said, you know, with the shadow
know if
coming
I'll
in.
get my second
Yeah,
chance,
well,
but-
he said this is my second chance. And Tink already was in her second chance too. And a lot of second chances going out there.
And it also felt close to home when Tinkerbell had Regina's heart, and that was like her chance as well.
Yeah.
So this is very reminiscent of the "Do you believe in fairies?" clap for Tinkerbell. Maybe eventually she can get her magic and her wings back.
Yeah.
Because I mean that was
I
was
think
the
it's
whole
possible.
idea.
I have a
Behind the
prediction
Peter
on that,
Pan story.
actually.
I do too,
but-
yeah.
Okay. We will save that for predictions at the end of the episode.
Yep.
So, Operation Henry, the Save Henry crew, walking through the dark forest. We know from the last episode that David was hit with a Dream Shade arrow, so he has a limited amount of time. He's poisoned, and only pixie dust.
Was it
can
just
save
me
him.
or did anyone else seem to think that they mentioned Dream Shade a lot tonight?
They did.
By name.
Especially
It
in the
was,
beginning.
Yeah, and it was like, have you ever heard of this?
Yeah.
Do you know what this is?
They're like,
It's
let
Dream
the
Shade.
viewers
It's Dream
know.
Shade.
Let the viewers know it's Dream
They
Shade.
Yeah.
mentioned it.
They
They
mentioned it
mentioned
a
it a
lot.
couple times last episode, but this episode it did seem.
It seemed like every new scene with someone with it, it was, oh, do you know what this is? Yes, it's Dream
So
Shade.
it's very
So
important,
it's-
is what we're
they
getting
really
at.
want us to know that Dream Shade is there. The name Dream and Shade together makes me think of something, but I can't put it together.
You will.
I will, but like it's
Dream
gonna
Shade.
make me think of something for David to get out of it.
Dream Shade.
Dreamcatcher,
Dreamcatcher. It's
Oh, we did see a lot of Dreamcatchers last
or
season.
that maybe Dream Shade once it has takes its effects on you, somehow you go into that weird sleep area.
so it's
that
just
we've
like a
seen in-
sleeping thing
Hmm.
that you can be awakened.
I just wish that he would tell someone so then they would get pixie dust and help him.
Well, Hook clearly knows at this point.
yeah.
He's trying to make a good impression.
caught on.
He's not gonna rat him out.
Yeah. So
Oh, Hook.
Pan keeps on moving the camp. Regina wants to use magic, but Hook says that won't work. He suggests using a fairy, Tinker Bell, of course. And this is where we get the reference that pixie dust is stronger than fairy dust. We still don't know the difference, but David,
Nuclear.
what?
There was a line that pixie dust is like nuclear fairy dust. I thought that was pretty funny.
Fairy dust on crack,
Yeah.
essentially. So the 5-hour energy version of fairy dust.
Yes.
David, then, yeah, so they have their bonding moment with Hook. Regina doesn't want to see Tinkerbell. Emma calls her out, realizes that they have this history, tells Emma to find, Regina tells Emma to find Henry even if Tinkerbell won't help. Tinkerbell comes out of the forest to talk to Regina. She's clearly angry and ends up blowing something in her face. We find out later that it's poppy seeds,
Another
potentially.
Wizard of Oz reference
Yes.
because that's in that too.
They had poppy season last season too when
Yep.
Hook and Emma used it on the giant.
Yeah, the giant. So
So, how soon till we get some Wizard of Oz?
I don't know.
I will have to say, we do have the Once Upon a Time in Wonderland after show, and at the very end of that, I don't know if you guys have watched the episode yet, but at the very end, there is a yellow road.
Yeah.
Yeah, we mentioned that.
Okay. Well, might happen in both.
We'll get there at the
Seriously.
Maybe
same
there's a
time.
third series or something.
Once Upon a Time in Oz.
That'd be insane.
work.
That
It
would
could
be
work.
a lot
In the
of
wonderful land of Oz. Yeah. Wow.
That would be a lot of programming for Kitsis and Horace
It would.
to keep track
Yeah.
of. But anyways, Hook and David and Emma are in the tree house, and Emma says that it reminds her of some place where she used to live, which then Mary Margaret tells her story about how she once lived in the bottom of a tree, in a tree stump.
Yeah.
So mother-daughter bonding almost over not having a place to live.
I mean, I think Snow is trying to find any sort of common ground with
Agreed.
Emma to try to connect with her because, you know, like she said last week, you know, you called me mom, but that was only because we were about to die. And so she just wants to find something to connect them. And I think Emma needs to try more because all I keep hearing is what Pan said to her about her not forgiving her parents yet.
I agree with you.
And if she's going to keep holding that resentment, it's going to affect them in getting home and in saving Henry. So she needs to start dealing with it. I know she's focused on Henry right now, which she should be, but she also needs to be mindful of that.
I completely agree with you because the whole time I'm thinking Emma needs to kind of give her a little break. From the beginning of this season, she's completely upset with Mary Margaret, saying, it's your fault that all this has happened, blah, blah.
She didn't have those teenage years to rebel against her parents. She has to do it now.
I know, but it's like you said, like the Pan's premonition that might become a problem later on when they're trying to get off or whatever. Who knows?
And when someone tells you that, who is out to stop you, you should maybe listen because he's clearly planning to use that against you at some point. Where it will come down the line, we are not sure yet. But I mean, he even said, you know, Henry's not forgiving you yet. So it's something that she needs to be mindful of and start to process it so that she can help.
Is that one of those things, though, where when you hear your destiny, you go on that path as opposed to...
It could be.
I mean, it could be, yeah. But I hopefully she defies that, and because there's possibility to change.
Yeah, because if you at least address it, then Pan can't use it against you anymore. You know, it's a weakness that he can pry his way into to expose you, and if you at least heal the wound, then he can't get in there.
Yeah. So the crew realizes that Regina's handkerchief is in Tinkerbell's treehouse, and Tinker used it to track them. So they go to try to find them. Tinkerbell has Regina in her lair, looks like a lair, and doesn't have magic anymore, but has Dream Shade, and is about to kill Regina. Regina says, "No, how did you get like this? You weren't like this when I met you. Here, take my heart. If you really want to kill me, do it the right way."
That was a really dark heart.
Yeah, it's totally was.
And we've seen Mary Margaret's heart before where it had that very
Just a little
little
dot,
speck of darkness, but
I
Regina's
do
heart
have to
is-
point out that there was some redness to it, so there is still hope left within Regina.
But it's all kind of intertwined. It's not just one
she's
spot.
like
Yeah.
clearly one of the most conflicted people on the show.
But I don't. This season, I'm kind of starting to sway more in her direction because now that she's actually looking for Henry, and you know she
has a love interest.
Yeah,
out
she
there
has a
somewhere?
love interest out there. I don't know. I feel like she's human now, and she's feeling helpless. Like she only knows how to do things with using magic. They're not letting her use magic, so she's kind of helpless. And she's like, "Here, take my heart. If you want to kill me, go ahead and do it because it can't be any worse than what I'm living right now."
I was really hoping that it would turn around and it would be like Graham or something.
Oh,
Graham, yeah,
it wasn't.
I know. I miss him.
It wasn't
Okay.
him.
Well,
But Tinkerbell's lair kind of reminded me of I'm gonna go back to Hook, guys.
yeah.
Peter
agree with
Pan's lair there when Robin Williams is there as an adult and Tinkerbell kind of is talking to him. It looked a lot like that.
It
So
Yeah.
you can feel the inspiration from Hook behind Neverland here.
Yeah. So Tinkerbell ends up not crushing Regina's heart, thankfully. The crew meets up, and Tinker kind of says that she doesn't want to help him out, but she won't hinder them from finding Henry.
Yeah. I mean that's noble. I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah,
I mean,
admirable.
this is like
She's
a woman
lost
who
everything.
yeah, she's got nothing.
Poor
so.
girl doesn't even have her wings, She's
Yeah.
lost her identity.
Exactly. And,
So-
this is a different Tinkerbell because the twist on her that we see in, like, the Disney cartoon version is she's kind of a jealous girl of Wendy, and she's, like, the feisty one who's not putting up with any crap from Peter. And here,
It's a different tale.
it's a different tale where she's helpless and
kind of ironic
powerless.
how you said that she lost her identity. So she is lost on the island, just like
Yeah.
the Lost Boys and everyone else that goes there.
Yeah. So, But, they offer her a home. And
They do offer her a home.
And that's
and
enticing enough.
there are definitely some predictions later on,
Yeah.
it seems like, from everyone for Tinkerbell. So we'll get through our last topic, Henry and the Lost Boys tonight. We see Henry sleeping at the bottom of a tree. Pam comes
How
over
funny.
and offers Henry an apple for target
And
practice.
there's the cute line.
The cute line, my family doesn't like apples. Clearly.
It's a family thing.
Yeah.
it's a family thing.
So Dream Shade is put on the tip of the arrow, and Pan tells Henry to shoot the apple off the top of a Lost Boy's head.
Yeah, it was Felix's head, so...
Felix's head.
I mean, Felix must have had a lot of trust in Henry,
Felix, I think they all believe that he wouldn't have shot at Felix, but
Yeah.
because they were expecting it. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah,
when
they
Pan
were
caught
expect-
the arrow.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were expecting
So-
him to turn it on.
Some
Pan.
fast reflexes by
Oh,
Pan.
yeah.
by
I
the
know,
way.
that was like Jedi-like reflexes.
Yeah.
So Henry ends up shooting, at Pan. Pan ends up catching the arrow. Doesn't seem angry or
Nope.
phased by this. Why do you think that is?
I think he expected it.
Yeah, I think he expected it.
Okay.
Because if you put a weapon in my hand and you're holding me captive and told me to shoot at you, I might turn it on you and start running.
Mm-hmm.
I'll remember that.
I mean, only if you're holding me against my will. I just want to get back home to my fairy tale wonderful life.
Yeah.
I think it was also Pan's way of like just bragging how powerful he is. He knows Henry's plan, trying to kill him, and it just goes to exert his power.
He's one step ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
of the
And he
entire
said-
crew.
Like, you can't destroy me.
Yeah, and he said, it's so exhilarating to shoot the arrow to fire it. So I think he's trying to get Henry
Mhm,
more comfortable and into the ideas that they have here within the Lost Boys to make him not want to go home.
Yeah. Without him realizing it too.
Yeah.
So Pan ends up telling Henry that Neverland runs on imagination, and when people stop believing in magic, it will cease to exist. Henry, you were created for a reason, and the creation was to save magic, I guess.
Yeah, because he's the spawn of dark and light.
I love
Or
that.
he was created
Yeah,
from
that
the
was
spawn
awesome.
of dark and
Yeah.
light, and that makes him the truest believer. And we talk about Emma being the product of true love, but we never talked about how Neal is the product of darkness and how they came together. So I loved how they linked that together
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
For
Me
us
too.
who were too slow to put it together.
I know.
Like
I
me.
was like, wait a minute.
Clearly
Maybe
that
they
one
need-
whoosh,
Duh.
right over my head.
Maybe like Dream Shade, they just need to mention it a couple more times
Yeah,
in next
yeah.
episode. You're the
Exactly.
product of dark and light, Henry.
Exactly. That's what I need. Spell it out for me.
Okay.
And say Tiona. Dot,
Yeah.
Colon.
Then in the line say, Tiona, this message is for you. Listen carefully.
And throughout this entire episode, Henry's clearly trying to push Pan away. He doesn't want to look at the proof that he is the truest believer, but at the very end, he opens up the little piece of paper, and there's his face sketched
It's
on it.
sketchy.
And Pan even says, I've been looking for you since before you were even a thought, before you were born.
Creepy.
Long time. I mean,
Mhm.
if you're obsessed with me, that's cool. But yeah, it's kind of creepy, and I'm sure Henry has so many questions too.
I don't know how that proves it to Henry, though. I mean, seeing a sketch on a paper after you're already there,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, but we also saw that sketch, the
We,
audience.
we saw that sketch, but
audience saw the
Henry,
sketch.
this is the first time Henry ever saw the sketch.
I know, but since we, the audience, saw it first, it still makes us question why.
And
Right.
Henry's a believer.
That's what I was gonna say. Henry's a
so
believer.
He's a believer.
Not a
So-
believer, a believer.
So, anything else that you guys want to mention from tonight's episode?
I wanted to mention that I felt a little sexual tension between Hook and Tinkerbell for some reason.
I want to know what their backstory is because he said after all we've been through together.
Yeah.
And he calls her Tinks.
Who
Yeah.
doesn't he have history
I
with?
know.
Honestly,
Like, man.
playa.
He's a pirate. That's what they do. They set up port and they bang their winches and then they move on.
Yeah.
That's what they're called in pirate world.
wenches.
Yeah. Haven't you seen
My
Pirates of
lady.
the Caribbean?
Have you been on the ride?
I feel like those are just the whorish ones, not like the really classy.
Yeah,
Classy.
but I'm just saying that that's why his number, if you're playing a numbers game with Hook, he's going to be way up there because he's a pirate.
Yeah.
They're the rock and roll of the sea. Rock and roll gods of the sea. Yeah, everyone wants to be with a pirate.
Not me.
I'd take this hook. It's just me.
I would take Hook.
Anyways.
With one hook and a hand. Okay. Anyway. That's weird.
So, yeah, that wraps up tonight's episode. I feel like we have a lot of predictions. Before we get there, I want some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV
Tiana's
News.
really excited for this.
I
can
mean,
tell.
everyone knows what the first thing out of my mouth is going to be.
Yes.
Ginny and Josh are engaged.
Yay! Congratulations to you two.
Snow White found her Prince Charming, both on screen and off, and I'm very excited for them. It happened Wednesday in Los Angeles. I know Cathy said she heard that it happened at Disneyland. I can't find any reports of it, but that seems to be the rumor going around.
Yeah.
That's a great rumor.
Yeah,
though.
I mean, how perfect is that at Disneyland?
I mean,
It's
please
my
be true.
Favorite place.
Jennifer Goodwin loves Disneyland.
Yeah.
They go there on the reg, and I know that there's a secret area in Disneyland for celebrities, but I know that she likes to go there a lot, so that was just what I heard.
So Friday, they confirmed the news in a joint statement. They say, "We are so thrilled to announce our engagement and can't wait to celebrate with our friends and family, including our second family at Once Upon a Time." I hope that includes us. I'll send you my address. Just send me a text. That's fine. This will be the second marriage for Josh and the first for Ginny. She was engaged before. They both broke up with their significant others in 2011. And then started dating shortly.
Happily ever after.
Happily ever after. They both tweeted because, I mean, Twitter went crazy on Friday with hashtag gosh. And that's how I found out about the news, because I checked my Twitter and I was like, what is happening
That's
right
a
now?
cute couple there.
Yes. So Ginny tweeted, "From my soon-to-be Mrs. Dallas head to my soon-to-be Mrs. Dallas toes, I'm oh so grateful for your well wishes. Thank you. Signed, the future Mrs. Dallas."
Stop being so
How
freaking
cute is
adorable.
that? I know.
You're too much right now.
Too much. I can't even handle. And I love how last week's episode we saw the clip of Prince Charming actually proposing to Snow, and then this week we get the news that they're actually engaged. I mean, how awesome is that?
I really hope this isn't a publicist thing. I'm like so tainted by Hollywood.
Yeah, we haven't seen her bling yet, but I'm sure it will be coming soon. Into some other stuff. I know I said something about Lancelot. Is he dead? Is he alive? That was something that was also talked about at the New York Comic Con. And I think after last week's episode with Excalibur, I think there's a chance that we might see him. Adam Horowitz said, that's an unknown fact right now if he's alive or dead. So there could be a Lancelot coming back.
I would say that we might see him in flashbacks.
Yeah, I think with
In
more
the
of the
future.
story, because him and Snow were good friends. So we still need to know how they knew each other and whatnot. David Anders, who plays Dr. Whale, tweeted on October 7th, "In 3 days' time, I'll be back up in Vancouver pretending with all my chums again. Episode 309
Nice.
must need medical attention."
Sweet.
So we will be seeing some more of Dr. Whale.
And more science. then.
And more science. Also, talking about Storybrooke, it was said that we will be getting back to Storybrooke to see how everyone's doing over there, and it will be during the 5 days thus far that have been spent in Neverland. So not that many. It feels like so long for us that they've been in Neverland, but it's only been a couple days. So we will see more on that. And Eddie Kitsis said about Peter Pan that Peter Pan may be one of our nastiest and most complicated villains. By the end of the 11-episode Neverland arc, you will understand why I just made that comment. So,
Okay.
Oh no.
so
Who's he
things
gonna
are
kill?
things are gonna get even better with Pan around, or worse, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll find out at the end. And then we have the Little Mermaid coming into play soon, and I've been told that we will see Ursula and
Yes.
the twist on that. And then some other people who they're looking to get into the storyline soon are Cruella de Vil and Rapunzel. I also heard a mention
Rapunzel.
at the
Puppies.
D23 convention that Princess Tiana might make her way in
She might show
there.
up.
Just saying, if you need to cast the girl, she's right here. But that's my news and gossip.
Princess T.
Thank you.
I want to say that Perez Hilton was actually the one that reported that they got engaged, or Josh Dallas proposed at Disneyland.
Okay.
Josh Dallas.
Josh.
Josh Dallas.
Oh.
Okay. Well, Josh. I can't even say it. That's a tongue twister. You can't even.
Josh Dallas.
Say that 5 times fast though.
Imagine how cute their kids are going to be. Sorry.
Freaking
They're gonna be
adorable.
Adorable. And the product of true love.
Oh my dear.
Nerding out right now. So that means it is time for one thing, and that is predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I know we have a lot tonight, so
I will say that after hearing this whole thing about Peter Pan being one of the nastiest, I think it would be interesting if Pan actually ends up staying on longer than just in Neverland, because last season Hook was only supposed to be around for a couple episodes, and now he's a regular. And I think that the kid that they have playing Peter Pan, I have his name.
you can't kill off a kid.
Yeah, Robbie K. He's doing such a fantastic job as Peter Pan that, you know, we've seen it in the past on other series. If you're doing a good job as your character and bringing something to the table, they'll keep adding you on and find a way. So I think I would like to see more of Pan, even though he's evil and the worst, but he's so good.
The worst.
The worst, but I'm excited about him.
Yeah.
So
Especially if it looks like Regina is going to get a little nicer.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think
I
she's gonna
predict
rise
that
up for
Pan
sure.
will be on past just the first 11 episodes.
I predict that, and I really hope my prediction's wrong, is that Rumple is going to die. I keep saying that. But I think he's going to die. I think he's going to sacrifice himself. Doesn't mean that he won't no longer be on Once Upon a Time. Maybe he'll, like, you know, resuscitate himself somehow or something. But I think he's
I
going
think
to die.
that maybe his magic will die. He will no longer
Something's
be the
gonna
dark
happen.
one, but he will still be alive.
I mean, now that Neal's on the island as well, so his son that he needs to, like, he still has a lot of redemption going on. Like, he's going to have to do a huge sacrifice.
He's gonna have to do something.
He's
to
out on his own,
win
too.
everyone's- Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he's completely by himself. So that's the other thing that they need to be aware of. That, you know, Rumple's still on the island. He's not with you guys, so you don't know his plans. So just popping up in places could.
Popping up in places.
Yeah.
What up, guys?
I mean, it could throw off his plan. You never know where you might end up.
True.
Yeah.
Although I think that we might not see him, and then when there finally comes a time between, you know, the big fight between Pan and, you know, our good guys,
Yeah.
Emma and the rest of the crew, that he will be the deciding factor of which side wins.
We do see a snippet of him for the next episode. That's all
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for Tinkerbell, now that she's kind of in the picture now, I think Regina and Emma will use their magic, use their magic to believe in Tinkerbell. She gets her wings back
I think she will get her
I think
powers
she'll get her wings
eventually,
back
yeah.
too.
in some shape or form. Yeah.
I hope that they ask us as the audience to clap if we believe.
I know.
will. You
I
don't even
know.
have to ask.
I'm like, I mean, I know it'd be totally cheesy and corny, but part of me really wants this to happen.
Do you
You mean
believe?
all of you
Yeah.
wants to believe it?
Yeah,
I almost
everything
clapped
in me wants to
tonight.
believe.
You know.
Yes, come on, Tink, get your
also
wings.
Tink, tink, tink.
Sad. Okay, well, where can people find you until next episode?
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at the Tiona Hobson. And you can also catch me on the Once Upon a Time in Wonderland after show on Fridays at 7:30
Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific
PS.
Standard Time.
You can find me at KAORIOUS, Kaorius.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV, also on the Once Upon a Time panel with Tiana
Once Upon a Time in Wonderland.
in Wonderland.
and
Yes,
this
in
one.
Wonderland.
You guys are on this
Yeah,
one.
We're
mostly.
everywhere. We're
And you
everywhere.
can find me on Twitter at Cathy Kelley. You can find all of us here on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV. So until next week, keep the comments coming because we love talking to you guys, and stay tuned.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.